Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad you're with us today. You're in the right place at the right time, and your soul is welcome here. Right, Ann?
That's right. Just where you are meant to be, whether you're live streaming or here in person. We're going to sing about how we're all welcome here and celebrate the last day of April. Let's sing. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh my soul is welcome. Oh my soul, your soul, our souls, we're all welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome. Is your soul welcome here? My soul is welcome. Oh, we're all welcome. My soul is welcome here. My soul, oh my soul, your soul, his soul, her soul, her soul. Hey, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Indeed, our souls are welcome here. Good morning, Reverend Deborah, and you're welcome here as all of us are.
Good morning, Reverend James. We greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, here in the sanctuary or with us online, we especially want to welcome you, because we know that you are not here by accident. Every one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're so excited to get together each week. And of course, we're even more excited sometimes when you silence your electronic devices. And please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Well, let's keep our appointment with the Spirit of the living God in this time of communing in prayer. And we come under his guidance and his governance. We recognize that we all come from this divine place, this divine energy, this divine stuff. And we have all of the qualities of this presence. First and foremost, there's divine love itself, which binds everything together in this entire universe. As we make that the activity of our awareness in every thought, word, and action, we begin to anchor that sense of unity, that sense of oneness, that is the foundation of a universe. The Spirit of the living God reminds us that we indeed are the way that it gets around in this dimension. We're reminded that we indeed are needed to anchor the peace, the love, the joy, the wisdom in this world. And as we do our part, then, the Spirit of God will provide the increase along the way. So we remember who we are, and we serve as reminders to one another of that truth. And as we remind each other of that truth, we begin to radiate it more and more and more from ourselves to our lives, to our communities, and ultimately our world. So that we can say without a doubt that what we see at the outer is a reflection of what's going on within us. So we start with ourselves. So we're grateful to be the vessels and the vehicles of this presence as we go forth, multiplying, amplifying the all good that is everywhere, but most importantly, right where we are. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center as reflected in our mission statement. And I invite us to join together as we affirm it collectively to transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission as we embody and make these 5 basic principles the activity of our mindset, our consciousness, our way of being in the world. Again, let's speak them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action.
And of course, we've got some great action this Wednesday. It is a Talk the Walk. You can join me as I interview Dr. Anna Renee Hiscox for the Gifts of Art Therapy. Now, she went and became trained as an art therapist, and then realized that her education wasn't really doing it for her or for her clients. And so she went through her own transformation and came up with a way to do art therapy that actually really helps people. And so we're going to learn about her journey on Wednesday night. So join us for the community meal at 6 and the program at 7.
And just a reminder that we're having our town hall meeting this afternoon, and you can attend in person or you can connect with us on Zoom. It's going to start at 1 o'clock. You may have received a personal invitation from our board with the requested meeting agenda from our SLC members. And if you did not receive the agenda, you can find it on our website, and you can also find our link on our website as well for Zoom.
And of course, the Quantum Living Training teaches us how to master the art and practice of nothing and no one against me. And this training is steeped and grounded at the intersection where science and spirituality meet. So you can join certified quantum living coach Elaine Laroa for a 6-week course that explores more deeply the science around the unity principle that says our thoughts create our own reality. This starts on Wednesday, the May 3rd. It goes through June 7th, and you can register for the class at the Hub, or of course you can always register for it online.
All right, well, the jewelry sale is coming. The jewelry sale is coming. That line in one of those movies said, the phone books are here, the phone books are here. I'm somebody now. So if you want to be somebody, come to the jewelry sale. It's going to be both Saturday and Sunday, and that's going to continue on Mother's Day. I think we asked you earlier what time it was going to be on Saturday. What was the times?
It's
12 to 2, yes, because somebody said, well, what time is it going to be? We didn't have the time, so it's 12 to 2.
Right after Women of Spirit.
Right after Women of Spirit on Saturday, and then, of course, on Sunday as well, I think after the services, and the first 2 Sundays in May. So check it out. And also, it's that time of the year for our annual meeting. It's going to be coming up in May. This is when we elect new board of trustees to fill in the vacant slots. As a governing member, you'll be able to vote. And take a moment just to go to our website to renew your membership. And we ask you to do so, and this will keep our membership list up to date and accurate. And also, you can just reaffirm the 3 answers to the questions of what it is that it means to be a member. So please go to our website and renew your membership, and just come to the meeting in May. We'll be giving more information about it as we get closer.
And remember, there are many activities that foster transformation in our lives here at SLC. Check out our weekly small groups and other offerings. And to discover all the happenings at SLC, if you're here in person, you can go to the courtyard, look at the bulletin board, again, chat with the ladies at the Hub. And of course, you can always go to our website where all of our events are listed.
Well, one of the reasons folks come to a community is to connect with one another, whether it's to a class, a workshop, seminar, some sort of social activity. But you can get a glimpse of what that's like by just turning to a friend or a neighbor and just greet them in a manner that feels comfortable for you and just say, "You are marvelous. Glad you're here."
We invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, written by our very own Paula Mandela.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This was the Faith in Action song for 2016. Perhaps you remember. Hello, good morning. Ooh, yeah. Please join me. Bringing joy and peace. Like sunlight dances on water, like a tree bends in the breeze. I'll give my life beautifully. Bringing joy and peace. Give yourselves a hand. Please be seated. It's that kind of service, really.
All right, everybody, let's take a nice deep breath together. Now, we've been talking about the quantum living process, and we've been hearing about a class that's going to be starting again. And when we first started this process together, we worked on a community cue card. And we determined some of our shadow qualities and some of our light qualities. And we're going to speak those out loud, and we're going to see how many of those still apply. So let's speak them out loud together. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, or fearful, because this is who we have come here to be: inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. I like those light qualities. Now let's embody all of those beautiful qualities of shadow and light, and let's speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now we're just going to breathe into this beautiful chant by Stephen Mitchell. Breathe in and breathe out.
Why don't we do that together? I invite you to take a nice deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And notice how when you become present to your breathing, you become present. Please join me in singing if you'd like. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe deeper in and breathe out. I know you're here with me, so I breathe. Part of one, and one is everything, and everything is all there is, and all there is God. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
As we breathe in and breathe out, simply allow and let your body to settle. And as you're finding that comfortable position to be fully present in the here and now, and as you're closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, let your belly and your shoulders relax with each in-breath and with each out-breath. And in this relaxed state of mind, let's go through a process of just envisioning a positive future. Recognizing it as a time to connect to that place within all of us that desires to work toward a life of meaning, that desires to move to a life of fulfillment. And along the way, we consider how we can care for ourselves and care for others. We consider how we will show up as our best to meet life's challenges, whatever they may be. So take a deep breath in. And release the breath out. And allow the rhythm to find its natural place. Breathe in. Breathe out. Be open to being fully present here and now with each in-breath and out-breath. And I invite you to embody and consider these questions as you are in this state of being. Quietly repeat them to yourself. And see if anything comes up just naturally. And if nothing comes up, just continue to give your attention to the breathing in and the breathing out. Ask yourself, what kind of future do I feel deeply moved towards? Notice the thoughts, the feelings, and images that come to your mind as you contemplate that question. All the while continuing to breathe in and breathe out. As you capture those images, those thoughts and feelings, hold them in your mind's eye. And simply ask, how can I show up in a way that allows this positive future to unfold? Who must I be? How must I show up? How can I show up fully for the opportunity that Spirit is always presenting me? What do I bring to the party of life? How might I practice supporting this magnificent future that is awaiting me? Know that it's already ready for us and completed in the mind and heart of God. And as we relax after breathing in and breathing out, we simply open up ourselves to receive it. And in this relaxed state, we don't try to make it happen. We simply make it welcome. And we affirm and say, thank you, Divine Spirit. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen.
inside my head. I wanna live in the world. I wanna stand and be counted with the hopeful and the willing, with the open and the strong, with the voices in the darkness, fashioning daylight out of song, and the millions of lovers alive in the world. I wanna live in the world, not behind some wall. I wanna live in the world where I will hear if another voice should call to the prisoner inside me, to the captive of my doubt, who among her fantasies harbors the dream of breaking out and taking a chances alive in the world. To open my eyes and wake up alive in the world. To open my eyes and fully arrive in the world. With its beauty and its cruelty, with its heartbreak and its joy, with it constantly giving birth to life and to forces that destroy, and the infinite power of change alive in the world. To open my eyes and wake up alive in the world. To open my eyes and fully arrive in the world. To open my eyes and wake up alive in the world. To open my eyes and fully arrive in the
Thank you, Anne, to be alive in the world. So I've come to the conclusion, this may surprise you, that life was a lot simpler before the internet. In the olden days, you could just pick up an encyclopedia, read a few paragraphs, and get on with your life. But no more. For instance, in preparing for this talk, I thought it might be helpful to get an idea of how different teachings view the idea of enlightenment. I typed in the word enlightenment, and the result was 15 articles on the Enlightenment, the intellectual movement from the 18th century that stressed the belief that science and logic give more people knowledge and understanding than traditional religion. That wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Even the dictionary goes for the Enlightenment first. And then it will offer spiritual enlightenment, but spiritual is in parentheses. And then we wonder why we get confused about these things sometimes. Spiritual enlightenment means different things to different people and to different cultures. In Western mysticism, which is basically what we're talking about, we would say that enlightenment is a sudden insight into a transcendental truth or reality. It's knowledge, wisdom, or it's an awakened intellect of the Buddha, keeping in mind that a Buddha is someone who has attained a certain state of being, state of mind. The idea of spiritual enlightenment also comes with baggage for many people because they see it as a goal, as something to be attained. And they think that once they attain that special insight, their lives will be pain and challenge-free. And there's the idea that an enlightened person is always at peace, always kind, and always loving, that the human foibles have all dissolved. An enlightened person is special. You can spot an enlightened person at 10 paces. Of course, the truth is very different. There's a saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Now, what this means is that, hey, you had a deep mystical insight. Congratulations. I hope it helps you in your life. Now, can we please do the dishes? In other words, life on planet Earth goes on. We're meant to be living our human lives. And it's just that maybe you have a deeper insight into yourself or the cosmos or how life works in general. Now, there are many stories of people who have had a mystical insight, an enlightening experience, and I'm not going to tell you any of those today. Instead, I'm going to tell you the story of a being who ended up being called, well, her name was Lizzie, and then she came to be called Lizzie Bright Eyes. Now, Lizzie lives in a community with her providers and some other beings. And life is pretty mundane, with the exception that the provider offers what Lizzie considers manna from heaven. In her language, it's called a treat. This ritual offering happens twice a day, and Lizzie has an internal clock that tells her exactly when the provider will open the holy cupboard and offer the manna. Now, sometimes she becomes fearful that the provider will forget, and so she will sit and stare at her until the proper time. Now, in Lizzie's house, there is a ledge that runs the length of 2 rooms, and the providers have given access to that ledge. Now, one day the provider was performing the treat ritual and decided to throw a treat up onto the ledge to see what would happen, to see if anybody would go after it. And Lizzie tried to. She was completely tuned in to the presence of the treat. And she heard the noise when it hit the ledge, and so she raced up the tree. And then she stopped. And then she went up on the ledge, and she didn't see anything, and so she came back down, and she came about halfway down, and then the provider threw another one up. And so she raced back up and stopped and looked around. She knew something was going on, but from the place where she was, she couldn't see it. And she looked at the provider, and she looked around, and she was clearly confused, but she knew something was going on. And the provider threw another treat. She came back down again. Lizzie knew something very special was happening, and she was very excited. She just didn't know quite what it was. And she watched the provider's hands, saw her throw another treat, and went back and forth one more time. She sat at the top of this tree in confusion, and then there was one more that got thrown up, and suddenly, instantly, Lizzie got it. She made the connection. It was an electric moment. The instant it connected, Lizzie's whole countenance lit up. Her eyes glowed. Light shone all around her head. She bounded up onto the ledge and found the treats. This little being was so excited and so proud of herself for making that connection. And the provider was amazed, not so much that Lizzie had figured it out, but how electric and special that moment was, and how excited Lizzie was. The light in her eyes, her joy are etched in the provider's memory forever, and this is why she will be ever called Lizzie Bright Eyes. And that is not the moment. I mean, her eyes, you just think of them like 100 times brighter. It was amazing. Now, we may ask what happened after Lizzie had this enlightening experience. Well, she began a practice. Twice a day at ritual time, she would climb up to the ledge and wait until the manna was sent up to her. Her excitement never waned. Her joy spilled out into the room. Her pride that she knew how to do this. And over time, she let her practice slip a little bit here and there. And some days she would be down with the rest of the community for the ritual, but she never went more than a few days before going to the ledge. And the provider knows that if Lizzie doesn't come running when the vessel containing the manna is opened, then she is ready up on the ledge waiting to pounce upon flying treats. Enlightenment for Lizzie was of making that huge connection. And the difference between Lizzie and us is probably that she didn't intellectualize it. She didn't question it. She didn't analyze it. She just incorporated her new knowledge into her life with joy and excitement. But you might wonder how the rest of the community was affected by Lizzie's insight. Now, one of the beings, Maxwell, seems to know that this happens. He's figured it out because he's watched Lizzie, and he's actually gone up there. But to him, it's not a big deal, and he only has tried to play the game a couple times. It's like he's bored with it. But it's also true that he doesn't have as much attachment to the whole ritual of the treat anyway. Mostly, he seems to sometimes he'll walk away without even eating them. I think he mostly wants to just come and be in the middle and meddle with everybody. And then there's Biscuit. I don't know how Marie got attached to that name. It just did. She, like Lizzie, is a dedicated treatitarian. And if Lizzie isn't staring at the provider as a reminder, Biscuit will take on the test to ensure that the ritual begins on time. But when the action moves to the ledge, Biscuit always looks at the floor. She knows that something's going on. She knows that this thing is going on up there, but she never looks up. She knows the provider has the holy treats in her hand, but she doesn't look at the hand. She doesn't look up at the ledge. She only looks at the floor. For Lizzie, treats are only accessible on the floor. Java, the queen of the community, usually sits aside while the offering is brought to her. She is also a dedicated treatitarian, and it takes a lot to get her to go out of her way for it. Now, occasionally she'll come and join in the community ritual, but mostly she just sits off by herself, and she has never shown one bit of interest in the ritual of the ledge at all. Even when everyone is in there and there's all this excitement, there's no interest. And the other provider, the finance manager, is just an observer because he didn't witness Lizzie's experience. He's been told about it. He's been told about the Enlightenment, and he sees the daily ritual, but to him it's just a story. And it's just part of life in that community now. As to the provider, the joy and the excitement of supporting this is there as well. Now, I would suppose that some people would argue that what Lizzie did or what happened with Lizzie is not true enlightenment. But I can assure you that if you had been there in person and see the light in her eyes, that electric energy that blasted from her, you would agree that it was a form of a deep, deep awareness. And the difference between the beings in this story and humans, as far as I can tell, we are the only ones who consciously go in search of enlightenment. For other beings, not just these I've talked about today, insights and understanding seem to come as a natural part of their lives, of being alive in the world. And they experience joy when it happens. But most of us have had some of this experience in our lives when we were pondering something, perhaps for a long time. And then suddenly the answer comes out of nowhere. And of course it doesn't come out of nowhere because you were thinking about it. You opened the door to that answer. But that answer is often bigger, more inclusive than anything you could possibly have imagined. And you call it insight, a download, and you light up in a very real way, the light bulb. Other people can feel it. You feel joy. It's impossible to have this experience and not be filled with an indescribable joy. Oh, you say, but that is not true enlightenment. True enlightenment will set me completely free, and I will have clarity, and I will know everything I need to know, and all my negative circumstances will dissolve. I'm so sorry. That is not the way it works. We're here on earth to live an earthly life. Our real job is to become fully human, fully aware that we are more than these bodies while honoring our bodies, fully aware that we are more than our circumstances while honoring and managing our circumstances, fully aware that we create our own reality each and every moment of the day. When we look for enlightenment outside ourselves, when we look for a way out of being human, when we dishonor ourselves, we are actually rejecting our humanness, which means we are rejecting ourselves. One of the most enlightened things we can do is to accept ourselves fully and completely as we are in this moment. You know, Reverend Angelica Schaefer was here a couple months ago. She helped us restart Wednesday. And she said that she spent a lot of time chasing enlightenment. In fact, she went to India something like 7 times. Because apparently I don't know how you go, but anyway, people think they can go to India and get enlightenment. And every time she came back, life was still here to greet her. So she said she surrendered and she stopped chasing enlightenment. And I made the observation that the decision to stop chasing enlightenment was probably an enlightened decision. You know, if you've ever had a mystical experience, you will understand when I say that while life normalizes after a while, you will always carry that experience in your heart and your mind, and you know or feel more than you did before. You have a new understanding that might give you more compassion or patience or insight into your life. A big insight might spur you on to a new practice, as it did with Lizzie. And you might also let the practice drop off a bit on occasion. But that practice ensures that the insight becomes a part of you, not just a magical something that happened. And the other reason to stop chasing the big insight is you can't make them happen anyway. Some of the most startling insights I have ever experienced have come when I was just minding my own business. And yes, I can do that sometimes. Many people who have had a mystical experience will say the same thing. But should we still stay open? Yes. Should we expand our awareness through study and meditation and spiritual insights? Yes. Should we seek to be the best person we can be in any one moment? Of course. Should we seek higher consciousness? Of course, again. Seeking to be the best human you can be is one thing. Striving to overcome the world and not be a part of it is another. Let go of striving. Allow your divine self to emerge. We are expressions of the one source, God, in this world. We aren't the only ones, but we have the most free will and the highest ability to expand our consciousness, to remember who we are and where we come from. So pray, meditate, study, be open, be ready. And when you have a great insight, be prepared for those around you to be like those in Lizzie's community. They may show lack of interest or lack of understanding or say, gee, that's nice. But that is perfectly okay because that electric moment is your own. That divine, empowering, joyful moment is between you and God. It is all yours. Revel in it. Love it. Live the joy. Feel divinity running through you. And then straighten your tie and continue to chop wood, carry water. And so it is. Next week, Reverend James is going to ask this question: what are you saying to yourself? And I will be doing the meditation, and we will have Ann Roach and Larry Shiflett, and of course, Soul Light Connection. I want to remind you that our prayer chaplains are here to pray with you in times of joy and in times of concern, and they will be in the courtyard after the service, and so you can go see them if you would like just a quiet moment with them. And we love to welcome our newcomers, and so in a moment we will give you a card, but I want to remind you that there are many ways to become connected at SLC, and one of the ways to do that is that card. Now you can go to that card online and fill it out and submit it, or if you're here in the sanctuary, raise your hand and we will bring you the card and you can fill it out and take it to the courtyard to the welcome table. Do we have any newcomers today? We are all family again to this afternoon. Okay. All right. Well, let us, oh, yes. So now we have the opportunity to support Spiritual Life Center. And one of the ways you can do that is to text SLC Love at 44321. You can also go to our website and click on the donate button. And of course, you can always mail in an offering if you choose to do that way. And if you are online and want to spread this consciousness, click on like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever the app asks you to do to help send this consciousness even farther and farther out into the world. And now, let us here bless our offering. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
I used to disown myself. I didn't know I was frightened. I wouldn't let myself be angry. It wasn't enlightened. Then my friend told me to really be free. I've got to start embracing every part of me. And even though sometimes it feels like pulling teeth, I go kicking and screaming down the path of transformation. My higher self and my dark side are giving me the information. Learning to love every part of myself, even parts I feel I kicking path. I'd like to think of myself as wise, full of insights so rare. Right, guys? Right. you'll stay there. I get to thinking I can handle any old change. Then something new shows up and life gets rearranged. Suddenly I'm struggling and feeling so strange. I go kicking and screaming down the path of transformation. My higher self and my dark side are giving me my information. Learning to love every part of myself, even parts I've hidden on the higher shelf. Kicking and screaming down the path of transformation. Sometimes it's a hard road, this working to become enlightened. I can't say that always makes me rejoice, but looking at the options, it's still my choice. Yeah, I go kicking and screaming down the path of transformation. My higher self and my dark side are giving me my information. Yeah. Learning to love every part of myself, even parts I've hidden on the higher shelf. Kicking and screaming down the path of transformation. I go kicking and screaming down the path of transformation. I know you know what I'm talking about. I go kicking and screaming down the path of transformation.
Well, I think we have a community of rock and rollers.
Yes,
I did not realize this.
apparently, and a few people who go kicking and screaming
Yeah,
to
kicking and screaming,
into the
right.
path of transformation. I can relate. Well, let us begin by simply blessing those who have blessed us with their gifts and offerings, whether they've come in online or here in person or given throughout the week or throughout the month, because that puts everyone into a flow of a spiritual principle that says that whatever we give does indeed come back to us. And it may come back to us in ways we never imagined, from directions we never thought of. But in the end, it is about really helping everyone move up higher, to have their own transformations, their own senses of enlightenment, to be fully present on the planet to make a difference in our world. We also bless those who have left their prayers in the prayer box. For it reminds us that all of us have challenges along the way. We have bumps on the road from time to time. Yet we remember that we can lean on a presence that is for us always, that is indeed the wind beneath our wings, that has the answer even before we know what the question or the prayer is. Because as that statement goes, before they call, I have already answered you. The answer is present. So our task is to put our faith in that answer, lift ourselves to be one with the answer, and see how the Spirit of living God miraculously or seemingly miraculously reveals the divine and perfect solution, the insight, the lesson, the healing, the upliftment, the transformation. Whatever it is, God is on the field and supporting us along the way. So we're grateful and thankful for this as we go forth doing our part to amplify the all good that Spirit is and we represent. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And so with that, let us affirm our prayer for protection. And then we'll follow that with the peace song. And they're going to have some postlude music. And after that, we ask you to exit as quickly as possible so we can prepare for our town hall. So let's take this moment to affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. I am, and all is well. Our peace song. Peace and blessings. See you all later. They're going to hang around or on Zoom. And of course, go Kings.